So this is our review, y'all, for CFA 6, okay? So students were asked which sports they enjoyed to watch, and results were put into the 2A table. Using the 2A table, answer the questions 1 through 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do some totals here before I use this table, okay? So I'm going to move this over just a little bit, okay? Because I think it'll be easier to do once I do that. So 13 plus 23 is what? 36. 15, that's 31. This is going to be 33, right? And then how many males were there? What is that? 28. So 48 here. And where's my trusty little calculator? 23 plus 16 plus 13 is 52. So these totals are 52 and 48 is 100, right? 36 and 31 is 67 plus 33 is 100. Okay, so there was 100 total. So how many enjoyed watching football? 33, right? How many enjoy watching baseball or basketball? Okay, or means we're combining those groups, right? So baseball and basketball, that would be 36 plus 31. So that is 67. Okay. Then it says are female and enjoy how many are female and enjoy watching basketball? So how many are female and enjoy watching? The word remember means overlap, right? So how many are female and enjoy watching basketball? That would be that number right there. That's 16. Okay. And then don't enjoy watching baseball. So 36 enjoy watching baseball. So how many don't enjoy watching baseball? That would be the 31 plus the 33, right? 31 plus the 33. So that would be 64. Okay. So I'm going to transfer my totals over here, and then we're going to talk for the probabilities. So this is the probability of male or football. So we could do this a couple different ways. We could just add up all these numbers for male and football, or we can do our totals. So we could do 48 over 100 plus 33 over 100. But remember, we have to subtract the 20 that's right here because it's currently in both groups, right? Okay, so when we do that, I got 61 over 100, which is 0.61, which is 61%. Okay? The next one says not basketball. That's what that accent means, okay? Not basketball. So how many are in basketball? 31, right? So we could do 1 minus the 31 over the 100, okay? So that's going to give us 69 over 100, which is, excuse me, 0.69, which is 69%. So this next one says not female or baseball. Again, there's your not. So not female or baseball. Oh, sorry, not female and baseball. So we're looking at our overlap here. So what is our overlap for female and baseball? Right there's our females. Right there's our females, and right there's our baseball. So we're looking at that 23. So once again, we're going to do 1 minus 23 over 100, and that's going to give us 77 over 100, which again is 0.77, and that's equal to 77%. So when it says not something, you find that something and you subtract it from 1, okay? So the next one says a probability of male given that the person does basketball. So remember, we're going to take a total here for basketball. So our total for basketball is 31. That's going to go in our denominator this time. And how many of those basketball players are male? 15, right? So this is going to be 15 over 31, which is 0.48, which is 48%. All right, so the next one says, given the sets A, B, and C, find the following. So we want to find the intersection of groups A and C. So I don't see a 1 in both. I don't see a 2 in both. Or sorry, C, A and C. 1, no 1 in C. There's no 2 in A. There is a 3 in both. 5, and there's a 5 in both, right? 7, there's a 7 in both, and there is a 9 in both, okay? So that is our set of the intersection between A and C. Now B says the union of B and C, okay? So B and C, the union. So we don't want to repeat numbers, so we're just going to write everything down once that's in each group. So we got a 2, we got a 3, we've got a 4, 2, 3, 4, we've got a 5, we've got a 6, we've got a 7, and an 8, and a 9, and a 10. Wow, almost everything, y'all. Okay, so I'm going to erase that so we can do the last one, maybe. Okay, so the last one is not the intersection of B and C. So what we might want to do here is, so everything that's not in the intersection. So what is the intersection of B and C? So let's look at B and C. So what is the intersection? So what is in both groups? Okay, that's what it's asking us for. So it looks to me like we got a 2 that's in both group. 3 is not, 4 is not, 5 is not, 6 is not, 7 is not, 8 is not, 9 is not. So the only one for this one is a 2, isn't it, guys? Because again, what is in the intersection is a 2. So that means, again, this is going to be another big group because the intersection is 2, but we want everything that's not the intersection, okay? So you got to really read this and pay attention to what it's saying, okay? So this is going to be everything. So that would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 again, okay? But no 2 because it was in both groups, okay? So this next one says use the Venn diagram to answer the following questions. How many students take chemistry? A little technical difficulty here, but so how many take chemistry? So what we're going to do is we're going to count how many are in that area right there, chemistry, right? So we're going to add 3 plus 17 plus 15 plus 60. And when we do that, I got 95, okay? The next one says, don't take math. So we want to count everybody that didn't take math, okay? So here's our math right here, right? So we want to count everybody that didn't take math. So that would be 70 plus 3 plus 17. And don't forget this 5 out here, plus that 5. So that's also 95, okay? So our next one is take Spanish or math. Okay, so this means we're going to combine those two groups because it's an or statement, right? So with this one, it's Spanish or math, right? So we're going to do 70 plus the 3 plus the 5 plus the 15 plus the 60 plus the 85. And when we do that, we get 238. Okay? So this next one says solve for the following probability. So to do this, we got to find the total number of people in the Venn diagram. So I added everybody up, and when I did that, I got 260. So the total is equal to 260 because we're going to need that to find these probabilities. So it says the probability of C and M, which means chemistry and math. Okay, so this is and, so we're looking for the overlap, right? So this is what we're looking for here. So we're going to do 15 plus 60 over our 260. So that's going to be 75 over 260, right? So my question for you is, does that reduce? Whoops, what happened? Sorry, y'all. Craziness. So I'm going to look at my paper. I'm trying to cheat, y'all. Haha. Yes, it does reduce, right, to 15 over 52. And then what percent is that? Is 0.29. That's our decimal. And then 29%. Okay? So now I'm going to erase this and we're going to do the next one. So now it's asking us for the probability of chemistry or Spanish. Okay? So when we do this one, we're looking at chemistry or Spanish. So we're going to add those numbers up. So we're going to add our 70 plus our 5 plus our 3 plus our 15 plus 17 plus 60. And all of that is going to be over that 260. So when I did that, I got 170 over 260, and that reduces to, guess what, 17 over 26, and that is 65, which is 65%, right? 0.65, okay? So now the next one says not. Don't forget that's what that symbol means. So not the intersection of math and Spanish, okay? So on this one, we're going to find everything but the intersection of math and Spanish. So the intersection of math and Spanish is right here, right? Okay, so the easiest way to do this is that's 5 plus 15. So we're going to do 1 minus 5 plus 15 over our 260. Okay, so that's really what? 1 minus 20 over 260. Remember that our whole percent is 1, right? So when we do that, we get, hold on a second, 12 over 13 when I simplified in my calculator, okay? So that comes out to be 0.92%, okay? Okay, so this next problem says the athletics department has reported that of the senior class, 4.3% are part of the football team F, 9.2% are part of the track team T, and 2.8% are in both. What is the probability of F given T? Okay, so when we do this problem, what we want to do is we want to take the probability of both and divide it by the given or the single. Okay, so what we want to do is take the probability of both right here, 2.8 are both, right? So we're going to put our 0.28 on top, and then what part was given? What is the probability of F given T? Okay, so the probability of F given T. Okay, so that would mean we're dividing by what? Our track people, right? So the track people here is this one. So we're going to put 0.092, right? So remember, you got to move that decimal place 2 places to the left. So when we do that, we get 0.30, which is equal to 30%. Okay? So remember, the probability of football given that the person's on the track team, we're going to put our both, our statement of both, the and statement on top, and we're going to put our given on the bottom. Okay? So number 9 says at the beginning of the school year, 900 high school sophomores were surveyed about their courses. 200 took AP courses and 750 took geometry. A quarter of the students that took AP course also took geometry. What's the probability the student does not take an AP course or takes geometry? Okay, so let's draw a Venn diagram for this one, okay? So I'm going to create some overlap here because it says that some took both. So it says, at the beginning of the school year, 900 high school sophomores were surveyed about their course. 200 took AP and 750 took geometry. A quarter of the students that took AP course also took geometry. So 200 divided by 4 is 50, right? So that's how many did both. A quarter of the students that took AP also took geometry. So that means we got this 50 number right here. So now we're going to figure out what goes in these other two. So let's go ahead and label this. Let's say that we've got AP over here and we got geometry over here, okay? All right, so if we started out with 200 people that took the AP course and now we've got 50 that did both, then what is 200? So we're going to do this with the green. 200, sorry, meant to do that green. 200 minus 50. So this number in here is 150, okay? And we're going to do the same thing with the geometry, okay? So over here, we've got the 750 minus the 50, okay? So that's going to be 700 that took geometry. Now, to figure out if there's anybody in this whole thing that didn't take AP or geometry out of the 900 students, we would have to add the 150 to the 50. That's 200 plus 700. Guess what? That's 900 people. Okay? So that means everybody either took an AP class or a geometry class. One or the other. Okay? In the whole class. Okay? So, but that's all they were surveyed to ask, okay? So not likely, but it's okay. All right, so then it says, what is the probability the student does not take an AP course? Okay, so who are all the students that don't take AP courses? Are these 700 kids over here, right? Because that's all our AP. So that would be 700 over our 900, right? Okay. And then it says, what is the probability the student does not take an AP course or takes geometry? Okay, so or means we're going to combine two groups, right? So here's our geometry right there, right? That's our geometry. So that would be plus 750 over the 900. Now what's repeated in both these groups, okay, was the 700. So we're going to subtract the 700 over the 900 because we have it repeated in both right now, don't we? So that's just going to give us 750 over 900. And if it asks us to reduce that, I got 5 over 6. And that percent is 0.83 or 83%. So what you need to really do is, I mean, this is a harder problem because it says students do not take an AP course. So that means that was just that 700, right? Right there. And then when we said or take geometry, all of those students took geometry. So in both of those numbers, again, that 700 was repeated in both, right? So that's why we had to subtract it. Okay? The next one says, how do you determine if two lines are parallel or perpendicular? So if they're parallel, the slopes are equal, right? And that means M equals M. What about perpendicular? What do you do with perpendicular slopes? The slopes change sign and what else? And flip, right? So if we got M, it's going to be equal to -1 over M, right? Okay, it says what line is parallel to line A? So line A right here, let's just pick a point on the line. So if we go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Okay, so what is that? 1 over 1, that's the slope of what? 1. So what would be the line that's parallel to it? Okay, so let's look here, see if we can find another. Where does it intersect? Wow. This one right here goes up 1. It's not going, where does it intersect again? Wow. Not till there, y'all. So it's up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one is 6/7, right? Up 6 over 7. But what about this one? We'll start there. Up 1 over 1. It's line E, isn't it? Line E. Why? Because its slope is also 1 over 1. Right? Okay. So then it says what line is perpendicular to line A? So here's the deal. Line A's slope was 1, so we got to find a slope of this perpendicular, which would be -1, right? So let's see if we can find one that goes down 1 over 1. So here, if we go, let's see where this intersects right there. So 1, let's find another point where it intersects perfectly. Looks like it's there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. And over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this was -7 over 6. That's interesting. Looks like C and D are perpendicular. Let's check out B. Okay, so if we do B, looks to me like we go down 1 over 1, right? See it over here? Down 1 over 1, y'all. Down 1 over 1. So it looks like it's line B, because it is equal, the slope is equal to -1 over 1, right? It's equal to -1 equals M. That's it.